know God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. So I met this old man. He was so poor. Good afternoon to all my listeners and viewers. Welcome to Rebel Radio. Monday, the last Monday in March. Boy, oh boy, the year is galloping. On Friday, I asked that we should try and have an accident-free weekend, but we didn't. We had a terrible accident on the PJ Patterson Highway, 4 killed. Boy. And in that accident, based on the reports, 11 passengers were in one Probox car. Can you imagine? All the vehicles, those motor cars, most of them. 5 is the maximum number of passengers they are supposed to carry, and 11 in one. Boy, can you imagine that weird? How the driver, man, where was he sitting? No, it's terrible. Anyway, again, we are open and calling on all drivers, riders and pedestrians. Take it easy, play it safe. We are going to start today's program. You know, as you know, we are in the political time now. And we have with us the PNP caretaker for West Central St. Andrew, that is the Prime Minister constituency, Mr. Paul Buchanan. And we want to find out from Paul what is happening in West Central. Mr. Buchanan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing?
I am supposed to be doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So what are your findings in West Central, sir?
There are possibilities, strong possibilities.
Yes.
You know, I remain low-key. I remain under the radar. You don't win anywhere else but the ground.
Yes.
So that's where I am.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you are seeing in the West Central in terms of amenities? How are the infrastructure in West Central?
Well, as you may well know, there is not much. Not much after the 27 years of my opponent. So, there's nothing to see. We have a police station by Olympic and Bay Farm Road.
Yeah.
But nothing else. A few houses. During that period, I would have delivered 58,000 solutions under the Pride program. Give people land. I hear up and down talking about Pride was a corrupt organization. I have to laugh. You have officers who died giving land to people in this country. He hasn't done his research. There was no corruption at Pride. There was a unit in the Ministry of Housing called Caribbean Engineering Company Limited. After the longest forensic audit in the history of this country, it was ruled that they were the culprits. Not a single Pride officer, or me, Miss Buxton from Aspet Street, was involved with anything. But it is good. They can tell a young generation, a new generation, all sorts of misleading coming through. They can falsify things without the discipline of research. None of us was ever involved with anything. We were the defenders. And that's why people at Karachi and Long Mountain could get, teachers and nurses could get land for 4 million that now value over 80 million. Understand? And we put the professional and working class on the hill all over this country, whether at Fisher Road in the center of Mandeville, or Luana in St. Elizabeth, or Barrett Hall, the working people, the tourism workers that bring in money in this country. We are the people who did that.
Are in St. Anne and Portland?
All over. I see Marie Bazaar, what's her name, is making a big thing because she's putting in some roads at Norwich. We gave them those lands for less than $52,000. Right? They built on them fine houses. Nothing lasts forever. We weren't there. It's an incremental project. Pride was an incremental program that allowed people a planned land space, which we did. And their community group should now take it from there. We never get to finish because I left, I went to the Ministry of National Security. And in truth, future governments, both the JLP and our PMP government, we should have completed that infrastructure. But the JLP succeeded us. They did nothing. All those years, from 2006 or 7 to 2011, nothing at all. Because they were built by another party, right? So they can't come now claiming some puritanical position and all of this. You understand? The roads are to go in. We did the great part of it. We provide security of tenure to a fragile working class and an even more fragile professional class in this country. We put them on land. We gave them a piece of the rock. And that is important for others to put in the roads, complete the roads, and all of that. That should have been done. So there's no disgrace, nothing wrong with the Pride program. It is one of the most beautiful programs that has ever been conceived. And PJ Patterson deserves all the kudos for that. We could just inhale a bit. We're talking 58,000 lots, you know.
Yes.
In less than a decade.
Yes.
We are talking 30,010 titles in less than a decade, with 28,000 letters of possession signed by a minister under the Housing Actors Corporation, sole, irrevocable.
Yes.
It cannot be changed. Forever they own those pieces of land. It is not about putting a house on a land and when the person dies, you take back the house. It wasn't about that. Mm-hmm. It was the right program because we don't have enough money in this country. There's no budget. We only fool the people to believe we can house everybody just like that. It will take a number of years, but some people just can't wait. They are dying. So what you do? You plan the land space, environmentally sound planning. Just like at Norwich, you put them on the land and you say, watch here, go on little. do what you can. Somehow you can get an NHT mortgage, get it. But for God's sake, here is your piece of ground, right? And perhaps they haven't done research to understand this. All this thing about 5 billion, we're in God's name, pride ever capitalized at more than 100 million or 200 million. The money was to come from the people's savings, their deposit. There's no pride scandal. It was just a scandal of outsiders, people who wanted to appropriate that which they did not earn. They weren't part of our mission.
Well, Pablo.
A minister resigned because the minister had to take responsibility, and he did, so unlike some of these ministers now. So make us put this pride program aside. I don't know if that is trying to throw that at me.
No, what?
Back here in West Central, we see a police station. We don't see nothing else. There are a few houses for supporters over maybe in Tower. That's all. And if you want to test it, you go on the field and you check what I'm saying. We are seeing absolute poverty. That's what we are seeing in a number of areas, particularly where they're supporting the most in Cockburn Pay. Right? Yeah. So make us understand the truth. I'm going for victory. I'm not boasting, I'm not shouting, I'm staying on the ground. I'm meeting people, I'm providing scholarships, I am doing what I can. I'm I encourage them to go into heart. I even have application where I go around and give them the applications to go learn a trade. After politics is done, you must have a certification. It can't be you're just a voting machine. You voted for him for what, 6 terms? What is there to show? A lot of people get disappointed. It's their fault. They should have upgraded themselves. I am getting them to go into that direction. My time will only be for a little while. And then I'm gone. What is left? The world of robotics and AI is upon us. The children of West Central is not prepared. I am getting them prepared. We are just about finished upgrading and rebuilding the Carlton, some basic school, where there will be robotics, there will be AI for the children, labor right and PMP. This constituency is known, if we must tell the truth, for a lot of gun violence. It is not fair to the bright ones, some of those who get 11 ones and is now doing medicine. It is not fair that there is a stigma here. This is the Prime Minister constituency. It should be a model, and it is not. Right? And whatever I say, I can debate him on it, and he knows that. There's no issue I can't debate him. So I'm just talking straight. Yes, sir. We're not talking academia here. I'm talking about facts and the truth. This should have been a model. It shouldn't be any stigma. People don't want to come. Them don't want to campaign with me. Them afraid of down here. That is how it goes. And you know that too.
Yes.
Everybody just talk. But how we doing down there? Oh, they're not coming. I'm afraid.
Yes.
I am not afraid. Yes. I have gone through so much since I come here. I won't even tell you. I have a new brand Prada. Them juke me and take it. I don't know where they can't get it back.
You
so the truth of the matter.
You were wrong.
No. Let I finish. The truth of the matter is, we are trying to usher in a new day. It's not about victory and defeat. When I was in West Central, I built a highway from the Red Hills police station. I coordinated the building of that highway, the construction of the highway. Straight up to Giant Nutley. In my 4.5 years, he has 27 years down here. I built a new Red Hills school. We built a basic school out of Parks Road. We built the health center in a Golden Spring. We built another one in a Padmore. We upgrade Red Hills. We plan Stony Hill. We built 3 bridges. We built 5 IT training centers, all closed down by his representative, Juliet Cuthbert. Yes, I will debate him on any subject he wants. Even the economy of Jamaica, because you know that's where I am.
Yeah.
Right?
But
the truth of the matter is, When I match my track record against this as a MP, there is nothing he cannot exceed me. Simple.
Yeah. But Paul, you said something a while ago which is alarming. Do you say that you were robbed at gunpoint?
Of course. And I'll keep it quiet. New brand Prado. All my years of service to this country.
Yeah.
10 million.
When that
$10 million just go down. And I'm still standing.
When that happened,
and they came again and again. Fortunately, we got back those 2 cars.
When that happened?
Happened in July.
July last year?
Yeah. Early after I came.
Yeah. Boy, no, that is terrible. Terrible. But
it's a journey of life. It's a journey of life, my friend.
Yes. But you are saying that in the constituency there are signs of need. People are not prepared down there.
Listen, not prepared for life.
Yes.
They might be prepared as robots to go out and vote, but they are not prepared for life after 27 years.
Yes.
A lot of his supporters, they don't even know what they're supporting.
Mm-hmm.
But what is good? We are bringing back our supporters that have been sleeping for years and have been voted.
Yes.
But then I remain low key.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this space on the night.
Oh, boy. Pablo, one of the things that you mentioned, the Operation Pride, one of the big issues facing the political parties right now is what are they going to do to prepare, give land to the landless? You have over 600,000 squatters. All of the landless people in Jamaica are sons and daughters, grandsons of ex-slaves who worked this land for 500 years for free. And so far we have not heard any program that is prepared to address that issue. That is an issue that the politicians are drifting away from, right? And Operation Pride was a step in that direction. And therefore, we would like to hear from both the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition. What are their plans to give land to the landless? What is it?
Well,
we want to liberate Jamaican black people.
Well, let me speak for my leader. My leader has been on record up to last night at Stacey Knight's presentation. And I see that she's going to shock Jamaica and win. Bright young lady, a degree in computer science, and a very sharp lawyer in the tradition of her father. She has a lot to offer for the future. And that is where we must go. But let me just say, speak to the leader's position on that. All the private projects, anyone that have any infrastructure deficiency will be corrected and concluded in an environmentally sound way. Pride will never capitalize with no $1 billion nothing. It was the scraps of Riverton that gave those people their land. It was the little earnings of the teachers and nurses in Bel Air and the tourism workers in Mount Edgecombe. That is where we got the deposit to keep the program going. You know, great taxpayers' money that they are talking about is just a lie, big lie. We were above a tire shop on Mullines Road. That is where the office was for a lot of the years. I could just start the truth and tell this present generation about the effort of a girl named Anne-Marie Ramsey, brilliant UW graduate in sociology and economics. She had asthma, and she kept it from us, but she fought to build a community under Pride called Portmore Villas. It was an area that was the dump of St. Catherine, Portmore in particular. It was called Lesser Portmore. She built that community and gave tenure to hundreds of people over there. She put in sewage, tertiary sewage, coordinated all of that, while Beverly Hills were still going in and Norbrook was still going in pit. And when she concluded her work, she died. It was Tony Shaw. A lot of people know him from Central Kingston. He had serious heart problems. There was no challenge that he did not face. And the amount of tenure he provided to the Jamaican people under that program is the stuff of legends. And one day I will write his story. Right? It is a shame and a disgrace. That's where the disgrace and the corruption lie. That you go around and falsify the memory and the work of these people. It is not about a government program. It's about real people. People who got their degree and wanted to give back to this country. And it has been used as a political football. How you explain the finds of Karachi? Which journalists have walked through there and wonder if somebody dropped on Mars, they say, how come all of this? Where this come from?
Yes.
The government has not put a cent in building those houses. We built about 30 of them as a model.
Yes, don't let them.
They were sold for 2.6 million. Go and check the price now.
Yes.
Right? We gave them the land on the hill. We put an entire cohort of police officers and policemen. On the best part, people like Amos, who is a JLP candidate or was a JLP candidate. There was no politics involved. All the commissioners, past commissioners, except one or two, have land up there. We ensure that the people who serve this country, judges, and a lot of high civil servants who are on government homes, and as P.J. Patterson said, they forgot that it is not their own land. He ensured that to put them up there and through the program. Every time I left his office, he would say to me, Buck, remember the nurses, they are not getting much. Right? That was the days of being it all with Nelson, being the fatigable president of that Nurses Association of Jamaica. And she ensured that our nurses had a place in this country. One day we will tell the true story of that program. I don't have nothing more to say about that, but we can continue the lies and the foolishness and the nonsense.
Yes.
Barrett Hall was a squatter camp. When you're going into Montego Bay, just gaze on the hillside, you don't see the difference between the Greenwood side and the Barrett Hall side. You see beautiful houses, all those people have their titles. We left 6,000 titles in the vault at 2007. And they gave them out, the JLP gave them out in glee, as if they were the creators. And right now their policies are wrong. It has to be first-time landowners. How can you give out 58,000 lots of land and not a single one has been pointed out as being about political manipulation or irregularity? Not a single lot. You point to some people who you find in all administration that seek to appropriate that which they have not earned from outside. They were the outsiders. I didn't see them at Wilmers. I didn't see them at York University. I don't know them. They come and they reach on to political parties on both sides. And they do their thing. But you can't blame a program or the good people. And that is the big lie that is going on out here.
Yes.
Remember in 1977, in 1997, Riverton was a habitat best practice program.
Yes, sir.
We cleaned up that place after 35 years of children living with rats that eat all dogs. No cats live at Riverton. We cleaned it up. We put all those trees that you see on the outside of Riverton. We built them. We, the officers, planted those trees and built a berm so that they could have some privacy. The houses you see in the background were the tenure that we gave to the people down there. And through the neglect over the years, it has literally gone back. But it was a beautiful program and a beautiful time when there was hope for those people.
Yes, yes, sir.
You can just call the names, people like Ophelia Dawes, Dennis Gordon, Frank Moran, Mickey Vernon from KC. All of those people chipped in. And they were the new ones.
Yes. I don't hear you talk about that magnificent project down in St. Ann there.
Which one? Bellier?
Bellier.
Mountain Storm?
Yes, Bellier.
What would have happened to the teachers from St. Hilda's? Westwood?
Yes.
What would have happened to the people in Discovery Bay? All the professionals, the tourism workers. They have Bellier 1, 2, and 3, and then they put in a Bellier under the JLP government. It's not worthy to be called a name. They call it Crocodile City. Some little boxes that besmirch the entire environment down there.
Yeah.
You know, all of us have a come to God. I feel for all the wrongs I've done in my life, the work that I've done under that program. When I reach up there, whether I'm going hell or heaven, he will say, but you know, I'm going to give you a chance. You did do some good. From Donaldson out in St. Thomas, one end of the island, 400 and odd lot. Or about 200, either 200 or one, so long I can't remember. To Whitehall in Westmoreland. What would have happened to the tourism product with that squatter camp that was in Whitehall? 3,000 lots. If you never regularized, you would have something worse than Gaza. And with all the sewage effluent going in beside the Great Morass out there before you reach the bridge. You know that Great Morass right out in the grill?
Yes.
It has the best style for ganja in the world.
Oh, no,
all of that would have been destroyed if we never regularized. There needs to be tertiary treatment. No, it cannot be delayed. Right? Whoever is in government must do it now. It is like in South Africa, Mandela created the atmosphere for political peace. So did Norman Manley here. The economic revolution had to come from another generation. We put the people on land. We subdivided. We went as far as we can. We gave them titles in some of the areas like Karachi and others, Duanville and others. We were able to put in roads and do all the things. A few of them did not reach that stage, but we hurry up and ensure that they had a piece of ground. And we must accept it as such. Men do what they can in their time. They don't live forever. They don't stay in one organization forever.
No.
The political pressure got to our succeeded government. And they backed off. They listened to the nonsense. Well, Mark Gold is not listening to no damn nonsense. He has come out on the road and he has got look for himself. And when him go to Karachi, he say, my God, what is this? That was supposed to be a peanut farm. That was susceptible from big encroaching squatting coming from Augustown. We rescued it, and look what has happened.
Yes.
We used WG North over When the Prime Minister said we have to deal with our judges, etc., etc., we cut the road up along mountain. And when the private investors get involved, all them will build over our garden. And some of our government ministers and technocrats was looking at that and say, no, don't bother with that behind Oak Garden there.
Yes.
That have environmental problems. Him say, Buck, we're going to have to do a JV, a joint venture, through the Ministry of Housing and Pride, because we started over there cutting the infrastructure. We use Alfonso Jakes to design, a solid architect to design that space and dealt with all of the environmental mitigation requirements. And then Cartier and the private group came in with the housing.
Yes.
And that is the result. Mm-hmm. But the important thing that history must record is that on the critical day, Percival James Patterson said, but the rate is to be capped at $4 million for every house that built up there.
Yes.
Yet, I'm not saying they voted for us. They just never know because we never put it in them face. But the glory remains with Patterson and the goodness remains with Patterson. Yes. That he remembered all of them.
Yes, sir.
And yet, in another decade, the Beverly Hills project came up. And how much them sell the land for? 30 to 35 million.
Yeah.
And we gave them land plus house at 4 million.
Yes.
And Flavor is still winning that seat. We have 16 projects up there.
Yeah.
From Blue Castle to Mona Commons to Wellington Heights to Wellington Glades. We built Wellington Glades. All of them.
Buck, I tell you what, we have to continue this on another day.
Well, I've given you enough.
Yes, I want to thank you very much for your time.
All right, my friend.
And for that wealth of information, Operation Pride. One of the
one day the truth will be told, my friend.
Yes.
I don't have the time. I've started a book called Operation Pride the Truth.
Yes.
And you will hear stories about places like Settlement. No, out of Mandible Deer.
Yes.
You will hear about Clover.
Yes.
You will hear projects that you never knew before.
Okay.
All right. And you will hear how they came into being. I will pass them just like.
To be continued.
To be continued, as you say.
Okay, sir.
Take care, my friend.
Yes. It was Paul Buchanan there. The candidate for West Central, the Prime Minister's constituency, but Paul was the coordinator for Operation Pride, and he gave us reminded us of some of the projects. And I can testify that that project there was a step in the right direction. Let us go for a break. This is Rebel Radio.
Service stations are the fastest, coolest service stations around. Drive through and buy your phone cards from Cool Biz. Yes, it's easy. No paper, no pin. From the fastest, coolest service stations. Quality fuels, lubricants, and refreshments at the lowest prices. The cleanest restrooms and the smoothest service to make your drive even cooler. From the fastest, coolest service stations, get cool service and cool stuff fast at Cool Oasis service stations island-wide.
When me drink and please her, never gonna tease her. Boom, bang! You don't know, so Rubber Dub 8 tonic wine, the finest wine. So all of the man them wanna tune into the wine here, you know. You say if you don't want to go long and strong, you just tune into Rubber Dub.
It's Tools Hardware and Supplies new arrival super sale. Big savings, widest selection on all new arrivals for all your home improvement needs. Beautiful tiles, sleek windows, stylish doors, sanitary ware, and top quality flooring for your bathroom, your kitchen, or living room. Tools got you covered. Don't miss it.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com. Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
I've had many tears and sorrows, questions for tomorrow. There's been time I didn't know right from wrong, but in every situation, God gave me consolation that my trials come to make me strong. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His words. I've been to lots of places, seen so many faces. There were times I felt so all alone, but in my lonely hours, those special hours, Jesus let me know that I am His own. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His words. I thank God for the mountains, thank Him for the valleys, thank Him for the storms He brought me through. 'Cause if I didn't have problems, I wouldn't know that God could solve them. I wouldn't know what faith in God could do. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff that comfort me. Though the wicked will come upon me to eat up my flesh, they will stumble and fall. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to put my trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to put my trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Through it all, to be will be. Come me just a come. Come me just a come and me no want no botheration, boy. Come me just a come. Come me just a come and me no want no botheration, boy. Come me just a come, me say that come me just a come. Me no want no botheration, boy. Come me just a come me just a come and me no want no botheration, boy. Just to hear Jordan roll, roll Jordan roll, roll Jordan roll. I want to go to heaven when I die, just to hear River Jordan roll. My soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. One bright morning, when this life is over, I fly away home. Home on God's celestial shore, fly away home, fly away home to glory, fly away home. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, fly fly away home. I will fly away home.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. Let us skip over to St. Kitts right now. As you know, we at Rebel Radio, we do our best to keep you informed, our listeners informed about what is happening in our Caribbean neighbors. And we have with us senior Kittitian journalist here, Andre. Andre, good afternoon to you, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Well, I am supposed to be okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, what is happening in St. Kitts today?
Nothing much happening today, but if you talk about the last few months, I think there's a lot happening, not just in St. Kitts, but right across the Caribbean.
Yes.
With what's happening with the U.S. and the threats that have been made to Caribbean countries.
Yes, sir.
And more specifically, countries that have a relationship with Cuba.
Right.
You know, the medical program, the medical brigade, as you know. St. Kitts and Nevis is no exception. It's one of the countries like Jamaica and like others in the Caribbean that have Cuban in its medical system.
Right.
Both the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs have both indicated that what the U.S. is alleging or accusing countries that have this relationship with Cuba does not apply to St. Kitts Nevis, because St. Kitts Nevis does not practice predatory labor practices. The country abides by ILO laws. The Cuban doctors are actually paid on par with local doctors. And in some instances, I even heard an official say today, in some instances, especially for those who are specialists, probably even more than what local doctors. So, and again, we don't have a situation where, passports are being held or the Cuban government holds a passport. At least that's the information coming from the authorities. So there's nothing to suggest that the labor practices of Cuban doctors in St. Kitts and Nevis is flouting any international labor laws or any international convention. So that was made clear. We have not heard anything official to say that the country has had any bilateral discussions with the U.S. government, except for maybe speaking to some officials from the U.S. State Department. But aside from that, nothing to say or to suggest that the government has had formal discussions with the U.S.
Right. Well, the Secretary of State visited Jamaica, and based on what he said, that our government is not in breach, in other words, what he suggested was not applicable to the Jamaican government. We understand that it was a similar thing in Barbados and in Trinidad. So I believe that as far as the Caribbean is concerned, what he suggested is not applicable to the relationship between the Cuban doctors and the Caribbean countries.
No, I don't get that impression. I get the impression, as you said, I agree with you, that because I watched the press conference with the U.S. Secretary of State in Jamaica, and I also got the impression as well, like yourself, that he was suggesting that Jamaica may not be one of those countries that have this predatory practice,
right,
or accommodates this predatory practice. And I would assume that that's the case right across the Caribbean, because Caribbean has been considered for the most part Commonwealth Caribbean as a place that by the ILO regulations and statutes. So I didn't expect that any of the countries would have been in contravention of this concern that was raised by the U.S.
No.
I think there was only one country, in the case of Antigua and Barbuda, I remember that the Prime Minister, I think, said that they were going to change how they normally pay the Cuban doctors. So apparently in Antigua, previously, the doctors were paid, the government would have paid the Cuban government, and then they would doctors. That's the understanding that I have.
Okay.
But since this issue came up, they have since announced, the Minister of Information has since announced that they're going to change the way in which they pay the Cuban doctors. So instead of paying Cuba, they will now pay the doctors directly.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't really, when we first heard the allegation of exploitative labor practices, I think a lot of people in the Caribbean were bewildered by that statement, because that certainly did not apply to us here in the region.
No, sir, not at all, not at all. Tell me something. I want just inform me. There are no pending elections are not coming up in St. Kitts. Elections are not due in St. Kitts this year.
No, they're not. They're not. The last election was in 20, so we still have some more years.
Okay, all right. So, on the economic side, budget. I would imagine that the government has presented its 2025-26 budget already.
Yes, the budget. The 2020. It's actually 25. Yes, 25.
26.
24, 25. The budget was presented or the 2025 budget, I should say, to be more exact. The budget is now presented in December. So it was already presented in December and approved, and then comes into effect in January 2025.
Okay.
So the next budget debate is actually going to be in December.
Yes.
But on the matter of economy, I think right now the biggest concern that which is not only a concern for St. Kitts News, but for the wider Caribbean, is this virtual trade war that we are seen to be entering into, where the United States and major superpowers, China, Mexico, Canada, but especially China, and the fact there are going to be increases in tariffs, and increasing where ships that are made in China that are docking in U.S. ports are going to be penalized with a heavy tariff, a heavy fee that they have to pay.
Yes.
Now, I just finished writing a story which I'm going to produce for our evening newscast, where the CEO of Tropical Shipping has basically said that if the government if the U.S. goes ahead with these increases on U.S. ships, on Chinese ships, that this is going to have a very dangerous effect on the economies of the Caribbean, because Tropical Shipping is one of the major shipping companies that serves the Caribbean ports. And if they have a few Chinese ships. I believe, if I remember my memory serves me correct, because I was just looking at the press release, Tropical Shipping has 19 ships, and probably about 9 or 10 are ships made in China.
Yes.
So it would mean that almost 50% of their fleet would be impacted by this decision. That would have a dangerous effect, a very dire effect on the cost of the items that are being imported into the Caribbean countries, Central America and South America.
Yes.
So it would make the cost of goods and services extremely expensive. The Chamber of Commerce here, the president would have spoken on this issue at a press conference on Friday. He had just returned with a delegation from the Ministry of Commerce, the Minister of Commerce, as well as a number of government persons and the Chamber would have visited Taiwan recently on a trade visit.
Yes.
And on their return to the country, they had a press conference. And the question of the cost of goods and the potential impact on inflation, should these tariffs and should these increases affect, was highly discussed. It was all brought up. The Chamber of President essentially said, look, if this happens, it is going to have a very, very negative impact in terms of price increases in the country. So that is a concern, and that is something that the countries continue to monitor. And hopefully we could have some audience with the United States and come to a compromise where the Caribbean is concerned.
Yes, sir. That is something that we have to look about. And the President Trump's policy, this mass deportation policy, how has that impact, or if it has impacted St. Kitts any at all?
We haven't had any reports yet of any persons being deported. I know there was a list that was making the rounds on social media that showed that, if I don't remember the exact figure, but I believe it was I don't want to quote a figure because I don't remember, but it was in the hundreds, really. It wasn't a big figure when it compared to maybe a Jamaica or other countries.
Yes.
But again, St. Kitts and Nevis is a small country.
Yes.
With a population of just 50-something thousand people.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you had 100 or 300 people, I believe it was 360-something deportees, that list. But again, that's not an official list. We don't know if it's an official list. We haven't had any communication from the US that this was indeed the official list. Mm-hmm. And from what I understand too, as a caveat, if this number is indeed true, this would not necessarily be part of the mass deportation. These would have been people who were processed already and were due for deportation. Mm-hmm. So assuming that happens, St. Kitts and Nevis is a small country. So you have 100 people, if you have 300 people coming in, it's going to have an impact on the society some way or the other.
Yes.
So no, we have not had any indication yet of whether or not we've had any deportees. The Prime Minister is going to be having a press event with the media this week. Mm-hmm. So I suspect we'll probably have an update on that. Yes. But one of the things he did say at his last one of his earlier press engagements with the media earlier this year, when he was asked the question. He essentially said that St. Kitts and Nevis will embrace its citizens, its nationals. Everyone would be treated, as human as possible. These are citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, so they're not going to be treated as criminals, with the exception, of course, of persons who were held in the United States for criminal purposes. So not immigration infraction, but if you committed a crime and you were locked up for that crime and subsequently deported, then not that you'll be treated differently, but you'll be certainly monitored by the security forces just to ensure that you don't get involved in any form of criminal activities in the country. But I could say though, in early days, even though again we haven't had any official reports, there has been some debate in the media by the public. Some people are concerned that you may have criminal elements among deportees, and if they were to come back, they could, probably look to get involved in criminal activity here. And St. Kitts and Nevis, like every other country, has its challenges with crime and violence. So, to have imported violence or potential for imported violence, I think would be a concern for most people. But so far, we haven't had any official indications, and we haven't heard much lately being spoken about that.
Okay, sir. Yes. One of the things that I know impacted all Caribbean countries last year, and you touched it a while ago, the question of crime, for example. I know that I seen here last year in St. Kitts there were 28 murders. How is it this year? Is the numbers going down so far, 3 months into the new year?
It is a dramatic turnaround. We're entering the fourth quarter, finishing up the first quarter of the year.
Yes.
And there are no reports of homicides since the year started.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Which according to, and I heard one of the politicians, the opposition leader, was saying today that the Commissioner of Police would have said that this is the first time in 23 years that St. Kitts and Nevis has not recorded a homicide in the first quarter of the year.
Okay.
So that is a welcome sign.
Yes,
so the last homicide was recorded in October of last year. There hasn't been any since then.
Beautiful, sir, beautiful. So, from where you sit, how is tourism in St. Kitts? How is that looking this year?
Tourism, it depends on who you ask. It might be a mixed bag, but I think for the most part, tourism has been doing fairly well. There are some who, for example, would say that the season was not as robust as it was in previous years. Mm-hmm. I know one of the opposition parties would have essentially, spoken about or expressed concerns that the season is not as robust as it would have been in terms of tourist spend. We've seen a number of ships coming in. In fact, St. Kitts Nevis this season, at the start of the season, would have welcomed the largest cruise ship currently in the world right now, the Icon of the Seas. Mm-hmm. St. Kitts Nevis was its first stop when it left the Bahamas early in the year. Last year. This was last year around this time. Mm-hmm. So tourism, again, like I said, depends on who you talk to. But from the Ministry of Tourism standpoint, the season is doing exceptionally well.
Yes.
Both from cruise tourism as well as air tourism, air travel. Between last year and this year, a number of new airlines were added to the destination. A number of Caribbean airlines in particular. We had Leah 20 returning, or rather Leah 20 making its debut run last year. Sunrise Airways also last year coming. Air Canada, I believe, increased some of their flights. American Airlines had increased their flights to the country as well. So from that standpoint, there has been some growth taking place in tourism, both from air travel as well as cruise.
Okay. Well, glad to know that things are, on the brighter side in that part of the Caribbean, because as you know, we are sharing, we in the Caribbean, we have similar problems. The problems are, young people getting involved in antisocial activities, and, the people are not benefiting, or the growth is not impacting the lives of the people as it ought to be.
That's kind of the same concern here to some extent, because there has been evidence of growth, what the IMF has reported and what the government has reported. But there is always this conundrum where you have economic growth on paper, you're seeing the economic growth based on what the economists are saying. But for some people, they're not seeing they're not feeling the effect of that on the ground.
Yes.
And that has been part of the complaint. So while in one side you're hearing we're seeing economic growth, we're seeing a robust tourism season, both from cruise and airlift. But at the same time, there are some people who are saying, well, we're not really seeing the effects of this economic growth, and they're calling for. In fact, and I don't remember if I spoken about this the last time we spoke, but in the budget, what was passed in the budget last year in December was the government had come up with some relief measures to assist persons. So yes, it's in a sense an admission of there are some people who are struggling to make ends meet, despite the performance of the economy, and so we want to be able to assist those persons. And so they came up with it's called the Budget Boost Wallet, and basically it's paying 250 EC dollars. That's just shy of 100 US dollars a month to assist persons who are earning within a certain wage bracket.
Yes.
So if you're within that wage bracket, you can apply and be given assistance from the government.
Okay.
And so this has really caught on, because I think one of the last and it probably is bigger than this figure now, but I think over 25,000 people or somewhere around there on St. Kitts had applied for this assistance.
Okay.
But it's available both St. Kitts and Nevis. So it's a large portion of people would have already applied for it and are getting this assistance. It's only lasting for 6 months, so it's for the first 6 months of the year.
Okay.
And I guess the government would review it and then.
Yeah.
So there is an acknowledgement that there are some people who are not going to feel the economic growth, and as such will need some assistance, and the government, at least through this program, is seeking to address that.
Okay. All right, Andre, I want to thank you for your time today, and as we say on Rebel Radio, to be continued. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. Not a problem.
Okay. All right, sir. Yes, that was journalist Andre Yu, and keeping us abreast of what is happening in St. Kitts. Yes. This is Rebel Radio. Let us take a break now.
Cool Oasis service stations are the fastest, coolest service stations around. Drive through and buy your phone cards from Cool Biz. Yes, it's easy. No paper, no pin. From the fastest, coolest service stations. Quality fuels, lubricants, and refreshments at the lowest prices. The cleanest restrooms and the smoothest service to make your drive even cooler. From the fastest, coolest service stations, get cool service and cool stuff fast at Cool Oasis service stations island-wide.
Never gonna tease her. Boom, bang. You don't know, so Rubber Dub 8 tonic wine, the finest wine So all of the man them want to tune into the wine here, you know. You say if you don't want to go long and strong, you just tune into Rubber Dub.
It's Tools Hardware and Supplies new arrival super sale. Big savings, widest selection on all new arrivals for all your home improvement needs. Beautiful tiles, sleek windows, stylish doors, sanitary ware, and top quality flooring for your bathroom, your kitchen, or living room. Tools got you covered. Don't miss it.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
Or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware. Father God, Lord, your love has made me strong, and for that I'm all yours. Lord of mercy. Oh God, I'll never find the words, the Lord, to tell you how I feel. You God, mere words could not explain. Yeah, gracious Lord, you held my life within your hand, created everything I had, taught me how to live again. Only you care when I needed a friend, making my promises. Oh, this song is for you, filled with gratitude and love. Oh Lord, I thank you. You make me feel brand new. For blessing me, I adore you.
We are now going to show you a video. Well, this is just to refresh your memory of past things that happened to one of our MPs. And we're talking about the MP for Western St. Thomas, Mr. James Robertson. Look at this video.
Who is politician James Robertson amidst murder for hire plots and corruption as a former minister and currently active in the Jamaica Labour Party, headed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Let's take a trip down memory lane and dive into the sordid details. James Robertson is a Jamaican politician affiliated with the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP. He has served as the Member of Parliament for St Thomas Weston since 2002 and held the position of Minister of Mining and Energy from March 2009 until his resignation in May 2011. James Robertson was reportedly part of the faction within the JLP that pushed for a leadership change to replace Edward Siega, the long-serving leader of the JLP. By the early 2000s, there was increasing discontent within the party over Siega's leadership, with concerns that he had become a political liability after consecutive electoral defeats. Robertson was said to be aligned with younger members of the JLP who advocated for Siega departure to modernise the party and improve its electoral prospects. This movement ultimately led to Bruce Golding taking over as leader of the JLP in 2005 after Siega stepped down. In 2010, the Miami Herald reported on allegations involving James Robertson, a senior member of the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, and Member of Parliament for St Thomas Weston. The article detailed claims by Ian Johnson, a St Thomas resident, who accused Robertson of orchestrating a murder-for-hire plot against him. Johnson alleged that Robertson was involved in criminal activities and had ordered an attempt on his life, prompting Johnson to flee to the United States and seek asylum due to threats. Robertson denied these allegations, and no formal charges were brought against him. The case attracted significant media attention, highlighting concerns about political violence and corruption in Jamaica. An in-depth article in the Miami Herald, dated August 14, 2016, titled "Jamaica Murder Yarn Has Political Ties with a Scotland Yard Twist" reads, "In February, James Robertson won re-election to the Parliament of Jamaica. It was the latest in an unbroken string of victories for the 50-year-old politician since winning his first campaign in 2002. During that time, Robertson, a member of the conservative Jamaica Labour Party, has survived a political career that would have derailed many. He was re-elected in 2012 when a backlash against the JLP's association with a drug trafficker forced the Prime Minister to resign, and the rival People's National Party, PNP, nearly swept the elections. When he tried to push out his party's leader in 2013 and lost, he kept his deputy leader position in the party anyway. But those episodes were child's play compared to what he faced in 2010. That year, the US State Department revoked Robertson's visa for reasons never made public. Then he was accused of murder. The accusations against him dominated headlines in Jamaica. But Robertson was never charged and has denied the accusations, attributing them to political enemies. He's never been charged, let alone convicted. His accuser, a small businessman, has left the country. Officials made no comments. The news media eventually dropped the story. The matter seemed to simply disappear. Until now. Leslie Les Green, a former Assistant Commissioner of Police for the Jamaican Constabulary Force who has since retired, revealed to the Miami Herald that he investigated accusations that Robertson tried to arrange at least 2 murders and found enough evidence that he recommended that prosecutors charge the politician. Investigations have been conducted alleging serious offences against Robertson and others, said Green, who is English and a former Scotland Yard detective. In 2006, the Jamaican government hired him on contract to help professionalise the force. The Department of Public Prosecutions made a ruling there was sufficient evidence to charge Robinson, but after carefully assembling his case, Green said, Jamaica's Ministry of National Security refused to offer to protect one of the key witnesses. The witness fled, and the case fell apart. The guilt or innocence of Robertson aside, the episode highlights a problem holding the powerful accountable in a region dogged by violence. The UN's Caribbean Human Development Report noted in 2012 that Latin America and the Caribbean made up 8.5% of the world's population, but tallied 27% of its homicides. Jamaica has the highest homicide rate in the Caribbean. Day at the dealership on a sunny afternoon in 2008. Ian Johnson was finalising the purchase of a silver Mitsubishi Pajero at Motor Sales of Jamaica when he saw James Robertson enter the dealership. Johnson owned 2 convenience stores and a construction company in St. Thomas, the parish Robertson represented in Parliament. He was active in the JLP and had raised money for Robertson's previous campaigns. Robertson beckoned me aside, Johnson said in a sworn statement filed by his Fort Lauderdale lawyer and attached to an application for asylum in the United States. We walked a few feet away from the sales rep that I was talking to, Johnson said in the sworn statement. Robertson told him he was having problems with a businessman in St. Thomas. The rival businessman's name was Cecil Riley, known locally as Petrol. Specifically, he asked me to arrange to kill Petrol, Cecil Riley, Johnson said in his statement. Johnson said he was shocked and left without giving an answer. Robertson did not respond to repeated requests for comment by email and telephone. His lawyer at the time, Patrick Bailey, said he's not going to talk about that. To the Jamaican news media, however, and in a court document, Robertson acknowledged Johnson's allegations but vehemently denied them. He ultimately would file a libel suit against Johnson's lawyer. A few weeks after the encounter, 2 gunmen shot Riley dead outside a nightclub he owned in St. Thomas. Even by Jamaican standards, Robertson's alleged request stood out. Robertson was not just a member of Parliament, he was the country's Minister of Energy and Mining. He was in his 42nds and the deputy leader and a rising star of the JLP. In addition, he would seem to make an unlikely criminal. He is from a prominent Kingston family. They own a shipping company and cold storage facilities. Robertson himself had gone to high school in England and then graduated from Southern Methodist University in Texas in 1988. He was a polo-playing socialite. By the mid-2000s, however, the young politician's rise had caught the attention of Jamaican and US officials for the wrong reasons. A 2005 diplomatic cable sent by the US Embassy in Jamaica and obtained by WikiLeaks stated that, like many Jamaican politicians of whatever party affiliation, Robertson is known to associate with criminal elements. A 2007 cable obtained by WikiLeaks stated that sources told the Drug Enforcement Administration that Robertson was involved with money laundering and organised crime, and that Robertson's father had once been forced to hand over acres of land to settle his son's drug debts. The US Embassy declined to comment for this article. Immediately after Riley's execution on May 26, 2008, Robertson expressed shock. He praised Riley as a role model for young people. Morning, noon and night, you could always look to him. Robertson was quoted in Jamaica's RJR News. No one has been arrested for that homicide. Suddenly a target shortly after Riley's death, Johnson said he became a marked man. According to a police summary of incidents, gunmen shot at him as he drove home from work one night, but missed. They shot at him inside one of his convenience stores, missing him but wounding an employee. Johnson said local police told him they could not protect him. Then, on June, 3 men entered one of Johnson's stores and shot and killed his mother, Hyacinth, while she worked. Johnson took his wife and young daughter and went into hiding. He continued to speak to police, but says he came away with the message each time that there was little they could do to protect him. After about a year, Johnson moved back to his gated house. On the night of July 17, 2009, a gunman stepped out of a car and fired at him as he talked to employees in his carport. Bullets hit Johnson in the thigh, arm and neck, but the wounds were superficial. A nearby police car rushed over and arrested the driver of the getaway car. The gunman fled on foot. A few days after the shooting, according to Johnson, Robertson himself showed up at his front door, saying he was concerned for Johnson's safety. In the carport, Robertson wrote 2 names on a piece of paper. Johnson said in his sworn statement and told the Herald, Keon Treasure Campbell and the name Guns, which was an alias for a man Johnson knew. But then Robertson crossed out Campbell's name and told me this name I should not pay attention to, according to Johnson. But he pointed directly at Gunn's name and said to me if I killed this man for him, all my problems would go away immediately. Johnson said once again he did not respond. Robertson's lawyers stated in court papers, in connection with the libel lawsuit, that the allegation he asked Johnson to kill Keon Campbell and man with sick alias Guns was not true. The statements made by Mr. Johnson are false. According to police and other sources, Guns is Kamar Williams, a local gangster affiliated with the rival PNP. Les Green, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, later tracked Williams down abroad. I met him outside the country, I'm not going to say where, Green said in an interview. The crux of the conversation was that he knew James Robertson wanted to kill him. He knew it was a credible threat, so he fled. Johnson said he worried there would be repercussions for not following Robertson's alleged orders. He believed those repercussions came to fruition on July 29, 2009, when Johnson's most trusted employee, Jermaine Jones, was lured to a friend's home, where a waiting gunman shot him. Jones escaped to a nearby hospital. 2 days later, gunmen tried to kill him there. Again, he survived. Johnson and Jones went into hiding. Johnson reached out to officials at the US Embassy in Kingston for help. He also contacted David Rowe, an expatriate Jamaican lawyer practicing in Fort Lauderdale and teaching at the University of Miami, to assist with a bid for political asylum. On November 9, 2010, Johnson gave a sworn statement in connection with the asylum bid over the telephone to Rowe and a court reporter in Fort Lauderdale. Johnson relayed his entire story, which was turned over to US officials. Johnson also released his statement to the Jamaican news media to bring attention to the matter as a form of protection. "If I hadn't released it, I'd be dead," he claimed. Johnson's accusations made headlines days before the JLP's November annual conference. Robertson marched onto the stage at Kingston's National Arena to defend himself. He called Treasure Campbell, who is described in news media accounts as a student, contractor, and JLP activist, to come on stage with him. The two men joined hands. "This is the man that they say I want to hurt," Robertson declared, according to newspaper accounts. The papers didn't mention that Johnson had said Campbell's name was crossed out. Robertson never mentioned guns. Campbell told the Gleaner newspaper, "I have known Mr. Robertson for more than 10 years, and the allegation that he wants me killed is rubbish." A month later, on December 20th, 2010, Robertson filed the libel lawsuit in Fort Lauderdale. Robertson withdrew the case a few months later. Rowe declined to comment about the case. Team of investigators. It was only after Johnson's statement went public that Green, the Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of homicide, heard about the case. He assembled a team of about 6 investigators to corroborate Johnson's statement. Green did not want to publicly disclose evidence because the case is technically still open. According to Jamaican police sources who asked not to be named, the investigation matched ballistics at several of the shootings. And according to the police sources, they found cell phone records between Campbell and Robertson from around the time of the shooting. There were also records of financial payments from Robertson to Campbell. Green arranged to relocate Jones to another country in exchange for his testimony. Johnson left for the United States, but agreed to return and testify. On April 1st, 2011, Green sent the investigative file to the Office of Public Prosecutions, outlining the case. Then he waited. Robertson, meanwhile, was facing other problems. A government investigation into a contract to supply natural gas to the island found numerous irregularities. The contract was cancelled, and Robertson, under pressure, stepped down as Minister of Energy. He remained in Parliament. Days later, Robertson confirmed to reporters that both his and his wife's US visas had been revoked. The US State Department declined to comment. On June 4, 2011, Paula Llewellyn, Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, responded to the evidence that Green submitted. She sent a memo to Green stating that there was prima facie evidence to base the charge of soliciting murder against Robertson. The memo has never been made public, but was obtained from law enforcement sources close to the investigation, with parts redacted. In a caveat, the memo noted that the case was based on persons who appear to have very significant credibility issues, referring to Johnson and Jones. The issues: Johnson alleges that Robertson is connected in some way to the murder of his mother and believes that Robertson has given orders to have him, Johnson, killed. Meanwhile, Jones appears to be a gunman or very closely linked with them, the memo stated. The memo also offered the recommendation that, given the status of former Minister James Robertson and the nature of these allegations, one should anticipate significant challenges in bringing this matter to trial. She was right. In late July 2011, a member of Jamaica's witness security team visited Jones in a foreign country, where he was under police guard. Jones, who had been seeking relocation, was told by witness protection the offer had not been approved by the Ministry of National Security, Green recounted. The next day he was told he was required to appear in court to give evidence. The combination of events scared Jones. He basically walked off the system and left, said Johnson, who was hiding with Jones. Without Jones, prosecutors declined to pursue the case. Through Johnson, Jones declined to comment for this story. In January 2012, Green learned that the Ministry of National Security did not renew his contract with the police department. He returned to Europe. The investigation and its collapse were never reported. Green has never before spoken publicly about the case. Johnson said he would gladly return to testify if his safety could be guaranteed. The minute one politician is held accountable for their crimes, Jamaica will be a different place, he said. Robertson, meanwhile, still cannot travel to the United States. As of March, James Robertson continues to serve as the Member of Parliament MP for St Thomas Weston, a position he has held since. He is also listed as the Jamaica Labour Party JLP candidate for the same constituency on the party's official website.
I am going to tell you all in this room tonight, I have never come to this room, tell you something is going to happen, and it don't happen.
What are your thoughts on this James Robertson matter? Could this just be one big coincidence or corruption? At its highest level, we'd love to hear your feedback, comment, and let us know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
To you I give all the glory. Yeah. Be not dismayed, whatever betide, God will take care of you. Hear that? Beneath His wings of love abide, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day, all the way. Mercy! He will take care of you. God will take care of you. No matter what may be the test, God will take care of you. Lean everyone upon the Lord, and He will take care of you. Mercy! God will take care of you through every day, all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. Lord of mercy. No matter what sickness it may be, yeah. No matter what problems you going through, no matter how rough it may be, the Lord promises He will ever take care of you. So God will take care of you. Mercy! Through every day, all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. Be not dismayed, whatever betide, God will take care of you. Hear that? Beneath His wings of love abide, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day, all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care
God when I'm in awesome wonder. Consider all thy works thy hand doth make. I see the stars, I hear the mighty thunder. Thy power throughout the universe display. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When through the woods, the forest glades I wander, and hear the bird sing sweetly in the trees. When I look down from lofty mountain grandeur, and hear
Cool Oasis service stations are the fastest, coolest service stations around. Drive through and buy your phone cards from Cool Biz. Yes, it's easy. No paper, no pin. From the fastest, coolest service stations. Quality fuels, lubricants, and refreshments at the lowest prices. The cleanest restrooms and the smoothest service to make your drive even cooler. From the fastest, coolest service stations, get cool service and cool stuff fast at Cool Oasis service stations island-wide.
Never gonna tease her. Boom, bang. You don't know, so Rubber Dub 8 tonic wine, the finest wine. So all of the man them wanna tune into the wine here, you know. You say if you don't want to go long and strong, you just tune into Rubber Dub.
It's Tools Hardware and Supplies new arrival super sale. Big savings, widest selection on all new arrivals for all your home improvement needs. Beautiful tiles, sleek windows, stylish doors, sanitary ware, and top quality flooring for your bathroom, your kitchen, or living room. Tools got you covered. Don't miss it.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Welcome back to Rebel Radio. And you know it's Monday. It's time for that special program on Mondays where we spend some time to look at what is happening at the workplace, what is happening to labor. As you know, labor and capital must work together. We have with us President of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, St. Patrice Ennis, and Dr. Vanessa Kiffin, President of the Jamaica Association of Public Surgeons. Good afternoon, lady and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Dr. Kiffin?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Yes. And as they say, ladies before gentlemen, let us hear from you, Dr. Kiffin. What is happening? I know that the new agreement was signed, but what is happening to the public surgeons, or what is happening there? Tell us.
All right. They say the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yes.
So we signed an agreement, the Memorandum of Understanding with Ministry of Finance on October 8th, 2024. And we were to get the new salary rates paid over in November, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
However, we were happy to see the new rates and the retroactive salaries paid in December. So that was good.
Okay.
Contingent to signing the Memorandum of Understanding, we had a side letter agreement with the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And unfortunately, some of the points there that were agreed upon have not been implemented to this date, such as we had an agreement relating to the intern level in our series. Previously, there were 3 classifications of dental interns, which were compensated differently. So anyway, we came to an understanding there that there should only be 1 level, and that those who were in fact intern 2 level should be moved into DS1 post.
Yes.
So because the qualifications are the same, we were arguing we don't understand why they are interns in the first place when they're qualified dental surgeons, and in the private sector they would be employed and engaged as such. So we came to an agreement to just do a one-off transaction wherein all intern 2 level surgeons would be transitioned to DS1 post. So that was from October. We had that agreement. To this date, that has not been done. And in truth and in fact, the intern level is usually a contract of a year. So some of those contracts came to an end, and those persons were not engaged in any way with any of the regional health authorities. By that I mean unemployed, and therefore losing out financially. So that remains a very serious concern right now. The members are very, very upset about it, because obviously it's been approximately 6 months since we signed that agreement.
I don't understand that, because I can remember the last time we spoke, and this is something that is well known, that there's a shortage of personnel in the service.
Absolutely.
Yes. So how can you have doctors unemployed?
That is the right question to ask. But I really don't know what the issue is with this. So you're right, it deeply affects service delivery. Job security is non-existent in this circumstance. So it's something we're very concerned with, and we don't understand what the problem is with it either, because it doesn't cause any fiscal repercussion, right? So the budget would have been drafted from a long time ago, and just to create these posts is just an administrative process. There's no change in money in terms of payment, because intern 2s were always paid at the same level as a dental surgeon 1.
Yes.
So it's just an administrative process. You just need to create these post numbers and assign them where they need to be, and that is it. So, it's something that we're very deeply, deeply, deeply concerned about. Yes.
And how is the Ministry of Health, what it is called again? Is it Smile Jamaica? I don't remember the name of it, that program that the minister announced in his budget. I think it was last
year. Oh, the second chance, Smile, yes.
Yes. How is that going?
There are some difficulties, I believe. The program we have been, in terms of the public surgeons, have been assessing persons and doing the necessary steps for the program. I can't give you the numbers in terms of how
the reason why when
Hello?
be ahead of other groups and mark on the pressure from the JT.
Mr. Hennis, you are Mr. Hennis, you are coming over into you are interrupting Dr. Kiffin. Yes, Dr. Kiffin, continue.
Yes, so we're doing the necessary work for the Second Chance Smile program. There have been some, delays in terms of materials and so on, some equipment challenges, of course, based on the nature of the work and the lack of infrastructure. But we're doing the best that we can to, because it's a very good program, right? You do need teeth, not just to look good and feel good about yourself, which is paramount, but also to function, to eat and speak, right? So very, very important program. We're very, very happy to see this on the minister's agenda. However, we're not able to move as efficiently as possible based on the inefficiencies based on the facilities infrastructure and getting the funds to procure the stuff that we need.
Yes. All right, let me hear from the President. President, I know that there has been some issues, but I now understand that the Ministry of Finance has signed off on those outstanding issues. Is that true? Is that correct?
No. As a matter of fact, I was going to interrupt you. No, I'm actually at the Ministry of Finance as we speak.
Oh.
Yeah, right. And had to be. And I had agreed to come on at a particular time because I had anticipated that we would have been finished long before it was time to join you. But unfortunately, I am still here and they are waiting me to finalize what would be our agreement or understanding on the increments, which is a universal item, I would imagine, affecting most public sector workers. And there is great ambiguity in terms of when it will be effected and more so even payment. And so those are some of the things that we're trying to iron out ahead of the border negotiations. And one of the things that was contingent upon the paying of increment that flowed from the agreement with the previous minister, Nigel Clark, in September, was to at least have an agreement where the wages were concerned by March 31st, 2025. We have not done so, and one of the things we perhaps would have to do is agree to amend that agreement that we had to extend the period so that the increment can be applicable for this financial year. So those are some of the things that we're trying to work out just now. I suspect we should conclude, and perhaps tomorrow there'll be an announcement about it, because we would like to have a circular out tomorrow regarding where increment is concerned. So I can't really stay with you, my brother, but so I just have to bring that to your attention. So that is currently what is of immediacy.
Okay.
The settling of the increment.
Okay,
before we embark on anything.
Well, I hope that it is tied up this evening, so let me release you so that you can go back and conclude those discussions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Yes. So, Dr. Kiffin. Dr. Kiffin?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I know, for example, there is a shortage of not only personnel but equipment. Has that been addressed?
That remains a concern. That remains a concern. I know that there have been some improvements in the region regarding the money available for dental. But there's just so much to fix, so much to procure. It's not going to be something that can be remedied in 1 year, without a whole lot of money. So we've seen some steps to improve the conditions, but at the end of the day, we still need more facilities based on just how short the workforce is, how short staff, and the existing facilities are not fully operational, many of them.
Yes.
At least 30%, I would say. So there's a lot of work that can be done there, but we've seen some improvement in that area.
Okay. So so I can well imagine that the surgeons are not able to deliver service because one, there's a short manpower shortage.
Right.
And there's also a shortage of equipment. So you can't get the kind of service that the public can't get the kind of service that they should be getting because of these two factors.
That's absolutely correct, because we've grown a little. We have about 120 surgeons now in the service, but basically, if you take the 14 parishes, we have less than 10 surgeons per parish, Yes. And to be honest, man, a lot of them, a lot more than 10, right? About 15 are in Kingston and St. Andrew alone, much less the more rural parishes. So the ratio is something like 1 surgeon per 37,000 people. So there is a high demand for care. It is absolutely necessary. Or oral health is linked to systemic illnesses such as diabetes and heart disease and so on. So, and can cause some difficulties as it relates to pregnancy and the child. So it's a very crucial part of health. You can't have health without oral health, and we are faced with some serious threats such as manpower shortage, as you rightly said, and shortcomings as it relates to the facilities themselves.
Yes. And so far, have you had any assurance from the ministry that steps will be taken to acquire equipment?
No, not at all. And we do want to see something more done as it relates to that. Like I said, there have been some improvement, but there's still a far way to go. Still a far way to go. But we're noting the improvement, and we want to see more change happen even faster, so that the average Jamaican can access the care that they need.
Yes, boy, that is something that we seriously want to be addressed. We want that to be addressed.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Because that is a vital aspect of care that is necessary, and the public is not getting that.
That is
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
You say there's one surgeon now to 37,000 patients.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. Boy, that is a whole lot, Dr. Kiffin, a whole lot.
Yeah. It's more than an uphill battle, you know. In 2019, you know that the total losses due to oral conditions were the total economic losses were 60 million. No, it was 60 million Jamaican dollars. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. What are some of the more prevalent dental issues that you see regularly?
Well, certainly dental caries, right? So the cavities, tooth decay.
Yes.
That is highly prevalent, you know. And gum disease, we're talking periodontal disease. That is also those are the two main prevalent oral conditions. They not as common. We have oral cancer, which has a high fatality rate as well. We will from time to time we see those patients in the public sector as well, and they have to be treated, which speaks to the fact that there's really and truly only one facility in Jamaica that offers oral and maxillofacial services. So, for instance, you get in a really, really bad accident, and your face is somehow damaged, especially the jaw, right? Yes. You're gonna need that kind of specialist to treat you, and we only have one place in Jamaica where that is offered, and that is KPH. So it speaks to the fact that we do need more dental departments in secondary care as well, and by that I mean the hospitals.
Yes.
And we only have 2 hospitals in the public sector with a dental department. One is KPH, the other is Cornwall Regional Hospital. But that's it. Nothing else in there. So if you get into a car accident, God forbid, some kind of gunshot situation, and you become you get a gunshot wound. Broken jaw, fractured jaw, upper or lower, even just the eye, because they share a bone, the eye and the mouth. So, or the nose. You're going to need that kind of specialty care, and you don't have that in Jamaica, except in one facility.
Wow.
In the public sector.
Yes.
So, there's a far ways to go, but and we don't understand, more importantly, why is it that we can't get the post created so that these surgeons can be retained in the service,
Surgeons, are them like other public officials or public health officials or professionals? Are we suffering from migration in that category?
Only if you're talking from public to private sector. We're not having majority of surgeons emigrating because there is a shortage on the island overall, and therefore you can always transition to the private sector as well. Yeah. So we're not losing many from Jamaica per se, but we're not retaining them in the public sector either.
Yes. So Doc, I can well imagine like the school children are not adequately treated at all. The schools are not adequately attended to.
That is it. That is a grave area of concern because in 2020, WHO published the oral status report of Jamaica. and it found that almost 50%, about 45% of children aged 1 to 9 years old have untreated tooth decay, right? So they have dental caries, so they have cavities in their teeth. So, you know, that, as you are well aware, it's something I always talk about, that it's really, really bring tears to your eyes, you know, get you emotional when you think about the children in school suffering from pain or they're having infection. You know, they cannot eat well and they don't feel comfortable in themselves because their teeth are not good to look at. So they're not participating in school a lot. Because, we don't have many dentists in the public sector, and therefore not many of us are in the schools. So in the public sector, we have a school-based program where we visit the schools and we treat the children in the schools. So they get dental treatment at school, you know?
Yes.
And we work really, really hard for that program, but the reality is there are many schools and many, many children, and given the current workforce and the equipment situation, we're not able to see all of them or most of them. We're only able to see a fraction of them, and many times we're only able to give a particular type of treatment, not necessarily the prescribed treatment that they need.
Oh my boy, this is not a good picture at all, Dr. Kiffin, not a good picture. But let us hope that things will improve. Well, we are in a new financial year.
Yes.
And let us hope that the Ministry of Health will find spend some of its budget in that area this year to acquire some equipment so that the public can get efficient dental care. Let us hope that is done. And so in the meantime, those gaps in the agreement, what is the word from the ministry to really fill those gaps in the agreement? What?
Boy, you know, the word from the ministry I'm also trying to hear, because we wrote to the ministry in March, earlier this year. Let me tell you exactly when it was. March 13th. To say, you know, these matters have not been addressed, they've not been implemented, and why is that the case? And we've yet to receive a response. Been trying to call the Ministry of Finance as well and not getting through either. Not sure why. And we're in the process of sending a letter out to both ministries of health and also to finance to ask them about this matter, because the membership is very upset about it.
Okay. Well, let's see what is going to happen then, Dr. Kiffin. Let us hope. All right, so I want to thank you very much for your time.
And thank you for having me.
And as you know, at Rebel Radio, we spend some time every Monday looking at what is happening in the workforce. And it's a critical area there that you and your colleagues are offering. Thank you very much, Dr. Kiffin.
All right, take care, sir, and all the best.
All right, thanks. Yes, that was Dr. Vanessa Kiffin. Yes, the Jamaica Association of Public Dental Surgeons. And you heard You heard from her there that the situation in the public dental service is not well at all. No. There's a manpower shortage and there's a shortage of equipment. One doctor to 37,000 patients. And right now as we speak, they are unable to deliver service efficiently because of manpower shortage and equipment shortage. Let us hope that the government will do something about this as in short order. Let us go for a break. This is Rebel Radio.
Service stations are the fastest, coolest service stations around. Drive through and buy your phone cards from Cool Biz. Yes, it's easy. No paper, no pin. From the fastest, coolest service stations. Quality fuels, lubricants, and refreshments at the lowest prices. The cleanest restrooms and the smoothest service to make your drive even cooler. From the fastest, coolest service stations, get cool service and cool stuff fast at Cool Oasis service stations island-wide.
When me drink and please her. Never gonna tease her. Boom, bang. You don't know, so rubber dub 8 tonic wine, the finest wine. So all of the man them wanna tune into the wine here, you know. You say if you don't want to go long and strong, you just tune into rubber dub.
It's Tools, Hardware and Supplies new arrival super sale. Big savings, widest selection on all new arrivals for all your home improvement needs. Beautiful tiles, sleek windows, stylish doors, sanitary ware, and top quality flooring for your bathroom, your kitchen, or living room. Tools got you covered. Don't miss it.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes, and we are going over to Suriname now. We have with us Mr. Harman Zunda, President of the Association of Trade Unions over there. Mr. Zunda, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, my friends.
Yes,
how are you today?
Well, I am supposed to be okay, sir.
Yes, okay. Yeah. Let's keep it that way then.
Okay. What is the latest? What is the latest on the trade union front in Suriname?
Yes, let's start mentioning two factors first that are influential to the trade union operations. That is that on the 25th of May, we will have general elections for the parliament.
Right.
That is one. And the second one that at the end of this month, Suriname will complete a IMF program, an extended fund facility of 3 years. And then coming to the situation of the trade unions, especially the workers of the government, is that we are actually waiting to discuss our demands before the elections with the president and some ministers for, let's say, an increase. You could say after the horror time that we passed with the IMF.
Yes.
So one of these days we will hear from the president and to come and to negotiate this program, with the government for the government workers.
Yes. So hold on, let me just get it. You said there a new IMF agreement. When you say that starts when, this month or next month?
No. It's ended.
Oh, it ended.
Yes. It started in 21 and it ended. It will end at the end of this month. So by tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes, today. Yes.
Yes. Oh, I see.
The 31st of March. Yes.
Yes, I see. Well, and as you said, now the unions are preparing to hold negotiations for wage increases this year.
Yes, exactly. So this year and starting from the 1st of January.
Okay. Yes. So what are the expectations? Mr. Zunda?
The expectations are good, and one of the main reasons is that we will have elections in May. So we expect that the government will be quite friendly to the unions. They don't have the constraints of the IMF, and of course, most of the governments, they want to be re-elected.
Yes.
So the inflation has been going down for the past years, going down from 60% to 10.1%. And our wage demand for salary increase is 25%. Of course, we don't know if we will attain that, but that's what we want.
Yes.
Besides also some tax benefits,
Okay, I see. As we speak now, what is the current situation in Suriname? So, for example, cost of living is it
the cost of living was influenced by the IMF program, and because the exchange rate was 70 7 Surinamese guilders for $1 in 21. And now it is 37 or 38 Suriname guilders for $1.
Yes. Okay.
So the exchange rate has worsened, and that has influenced the purchasing power of the workers, but also of the people, and especially of the people with fixed incomes, the pensioners. Okay. So that is also one of the things that will be discussed with the government, so that the purchasing power of the workers, but also of the poor, will be improved. And another thing is that the minimum wage was also adapted, but not fundamentally. Let's say the minimum wage now is, let me see, 52 guilders per hour.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, that for $1, you will get 37 Surinamese guilders.
Yes, sir. So I can well imagine that in Suriname, the purchasing power of the workers is very tight.
Yes, it's very tight, you know.
Yes.
And but the perspectives, you could say, are good because this year also the French oil company with a local company, they started with investing in offshore oil operations.
Yes, sir.
And they will invest 15 billion US dollars in the coming years. And the first offshore oil will be available in 28.
Yes. So that should that should help
you could say, I beg your pardon?
No, so that should help to boost the economy. Suriname will now become a oil producing country.
Yes, an oil producing, exporting country, just like Guyana, you know?
Right.
But we are around 5 years later than Guyana.
That is good news. That is good news.
Yes, it's good news, and we should take care of the fact, or look at the fact, that the purchasing power of the workers improve, you know, because there is something called the Dutch disease, which implies, and it's the case in Venezuela, you know, where a lot of oil is produced, and also only a small portion of the population actually profits from the wealth, but the majority is poor.
Yes, sir.
You know, but we have the advantage that we have a small population. The population in Suriname is around 660,000 people, and around 400,000 in the diaspora.
Yes. Oh, let me ask you something, Mr. Zunda. The party, you say elections are coming up in May. What about the party? Yes. The party that was party led by the former president who died last year. What about his party?
Mr. Bouterse.
Yes. What about his party?
Yes, you know, the situation is not too transparent. We can expect anything. You know, the government that we have now actually had to conduct the IMF austerity program. And no government will be popular if you do that.
Yes.
On the other hand, when the party of Mr. Bouterse, the late Mr. Bouterse now, they actually have lost the last elections.
Yes.
And so they are running a campaign that they want to win the election and to come back, just as a memory to Mr. Bouterse. So nobody knows what will happen. We'll know it at the 26th of May, because the elections are on the 25th of May. And that is not so long from now.
No. So I am asking,
Yes.
is Mr. Boutasha party, is it popular among the people?
Yes, it's popular among the people, yes. Because Mr. Boutasha was you could say, a people's president, you know?
Yes.
But on the other hand, he was spending a lot of money. And made a lot of debts. And that influenced, of course, the debt position of the country. And that's why we had to bring in, or the government had to bring in the IMF.
Yes.
With their austerity programs, yes.
Okay. Well, now, the other thing, how is things like public transportation and crime? How is that in Suriname, and how is it impacting the workers?
Yes, public transportation is bad. This is not good organized, you know. And the fact is that the workers have to acquire a car. Some of them that can afford it then. But public transportation is not optimal in Suriname. Especially, yes, you know, it's done by private companies, most of them, but it's not for example, what you can expect in European countries or in the United States. Yes. So that is a bad thing. But crime is relatively under control. You know?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's relatively under control. Of course, you've got, you don't have things like gangs and things like that. And it's you could say, generally under control.
Okay.
Yes, because they want to keep the country safe for the entrepreneurs also, and also for foreign direct investments, you know.
Yes.
So the government has an eye to this matter, to keep it like that.
Okay. All right. And I can also imagine that the workers, the private employers, they are watching to see what the government, how much the government will pay, because I would imagine that they are going to follow suit.
Yes, they are going to follow suit. I must say that especially the big companies, that they follow the inflation rate, and they try to keep their workers, you know, because there's also some migration to the Netherlands going on. And what the private companies do is that they allow increase of salary to a certain extent to keep their workers,
right?
With wages, but also with secondary benefits. You know?
Mr. Zunda, I want you to just hold it there. Let me try and get one of your colleagues from Guyana. Just a second. Just hold on there for me. Yes, we are on workers' time, you know, and we are trying to get Coretta. We should have her on the line with us, but I don't know what is happening. When I try to link up Miss Coretta. I don't know why I am not getting through to her at all. Yes. Don't know. Still trying to find her. Not getting through to her at all, Mr. Zunda.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Where is she from?
Guyana.
Guyana.
Yes, I think I have her here now. Miss McDonald?
Hi, dear.
Oh, yes.
Hi, dear. I'm on a flight.
Yes.
I'm on a flight, but I'm not sure. I'm on a flight. No, you're not going to hear anything else after now.
Okay, so you can't talk now?
I can't talk now. Yeah, the plane is taxiing, so we're going to lift off in any minute or so.
Yes. Okay. Well,
I was hoping that it's 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock my time. I was hoping that the call would have been at 4 o'clock my time.
yeah. No, I had indicated to you that it would be 4:30. But anyway, since you are since you're unable to talk with us, then we have to put it off until another time, right?
Yeah. Next Monday I'll be able to.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Or maybe later in the week.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yes. All right. All right, Mr. Zunda, she's unable to communicate with us. She's on a flight.
Oh, yes.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Right. Yes. So,
okay.
So, based on what is happening, then, as you said, that the unions are now preparing to meet with the government to discuss wage increases.
Yes.
And you expect a favorable outcome because it is election.
Yes.
It is election year, and the government wants support. So the unions are
support to stay in power.
Right.
Yes.
So the unions are expecting some good results, a favorable results.
Yes, we are expecting, but of course we have to see what happens.
yes, of course.
Yeah.
And well, the unions, I am sure that the unions are happy that the IMF agreement has come to an end.
Oh yes, sure.
Yeah. And
sure, because the government is losing its financial sovereignty.
Right.
You know, when they implement the IMF program.
Right. And the fact that Suriname has found oil, then there'll be no need to re-enter into a new agreement with the IMF. So
maybe because you could say that macroeconomic stability has been attained, but it's very fragile. Mm-hmm. And besides that, probably some more reforms are necessary.
Yes.
And to tell you the truth, I don't know if the government is willing to perform these reforms that are necessary.
Okay.
So they don't need the IMF money or the lending, but they need, let's say, a foreign entity to help them with the reforms.
Yes.
Because you know how the governments are in our region. Mm-hmm. We don't like reforms.
Okay. All right. So, but some of the reforms that you are talking about are like what? What are some of the reforms that you think are needed? Mr. Zunda?
Hello?
Yes, I'm asking. So, what are some of the reforms that you think are needed?
No, Kingsley. This is Kingsley.
No. I know I can't talk to you no man.
I'm at work still. Yeah.
Yeah, if I cut down, put down.
Yeah, so call
Yes, Mr. Zunda. Hello, Mr. Zunda. Yes, we just lost Mr. Zunda there. Let me just try and get him back. Let me try and get him back. Speaking to Arman Zunda, President of the Association of Trade Unions in Suriname. Yes, but we lost him. I'm trying to get him back online. Yes. Just let me try again. You know. Yes. Well, you heard Mr. Zunda there, the trade unions in Suriname. Yes, they are preparing to negotiate with government for new wages. Yes. And based on what Mr. Zunda said, that they are expecting some favorable response this year. Yes, because it is election year and they expect the government to be favorable to their claims. Hi, Mr. Zunda.
The internet, I suppose.
Yes, I lost you there for a while. But we can wrap up now for today. What are your final comments?
My final comments are that we are preparing for the negotiations with the government regarding the package that we have of demand for this year. It contains a wage increase, but also additional tax measures in order to increase the purchasing power of the workers. And that is for the public sector, and for the private sector, the negotiations based on collective bargaining agreements are continuing, and we see that also there we are getting compensation for the inflation of last year, and also some real increases on the wages.
Okay.
So that's the situation here now.
Okay. Well, let us wait and see what will happen. I want to thank you very much for your time this evening.
Yes, okay, no problem.
Yes, so
we'll keep in touch.
We will keep in touch. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, bye-bye.
That was Mr. Arman Zunda there, President of the Association of Trade Unions in Suriname. Yes, and that's the end of workers' time for this week. So, as you know, this on Mondays. This is this part of we use this part of the show to keep you informed about what is happening on the labor scene across the Caribbean. Yes. So let us go for a break. This is Rebel Radio.
Service stations are the fastest, coolest service stations around. Drive through and buy your phone cards from Cool Biz. Yes, it's easy. No paper, no pin. From the fastest, coolest service stations. Quality fuels, lubricants, and refreshments at the lowest prices. The cleanest restrooms and the smoothest service to make your drive even cooler. From the fastest, coolest service stations, get cool service and cool stuff fast at Cool Oasis service stations island-wide.
When me drink come please her. Never gonna tease her. Boom bang. You don't know so rubber dub 8 tonic wine, the finest wine. So all of the man them wanna tune into the wine here, you know. You say if you don't want to go long and strong, you just tune into rubber dub.
It's Tools Hardware and Supplies new arrival super sale. Big savings, widest selection on all new arrivals for all your home improvement needs. Beautiful tiles, sleek windows, stylish doors, sanitary ware, and top quality flooring for your bathroom, your kitchen, or living room. Tools got you covered. Don't miss it.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Yes, it's time for the world of sports and entertainment, and we have our entertainment reporter Kingsley McCullough, JJ. JJ, what's happening? I said I'm not hearing you.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. But when you let me take your speaker. Are you hearing me now? Huh? I don't know. Yes. Are you hearing me now, Kingsley?
Clear and loud, yes.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. What's happening now? Kingston College, winner of the Boys and Girls Championship, and it's still being celebrated. And of course, it's a milestone because it's Kingston College 100th year since 1925, and everyone is looking back at what transpired at Trump, despite a few little things with started and everything. I think on another program, the treasurer, Mr. Ludlow Watt, was giving examples of really where the stats are concerned, and that, you know, they have to be precise of what they do whenever there's a disqualification. He's saying that despite it is marginal, you cannot use discretion. You have to stick by the rules and whatever rules, because once you say, all right, let it go, it's going to set a precedence that everybody is going to look for that discretion. That's what Ludlow what is saying. And despite what happened at Champs last week, they have to stick to that and proceed with things. So you have some result that was controversial and some disqualification because of the reaction time and so forth. And he simply explained that they have to follow the rules, and whoever get disqualified or whatever happens, they have to stick by. There's no room for discretion right there when it comes to times, because this is something that have to be a fact that they make note of, because you cannot use discretion and say it is marginal, let them go. When the time is supposed to be ratified or to be make a record, it is going to be a talk about it was a time that was not right, but it was still given. So it's something that they will have to adhere to. That's Mr. Ludlow. Otherwise, from that, Champs is there, and a victory for Kingston College. On the girls' side, no one had expected Edwin Allen to have lost, but it's close, and Heidel had triumphed for the second time in the history of their in the girls' championship. And ironically, Coach Bennett, who had run second with Calabar, is the coach at Heidel. And it would be a unique double to see if he had one coach between Calabar and Heidel winning the championships. Maybe one day we will see it that way. So that's what's talking about in the track and field world. Everyone is still looking forward, yes, for the Grand Prix, Grand Slam that is coming to the National Stadium next weekend, yes. And persons are looking to support. It's a 3-day thing, which ends on the Saturday of next week, and they are looking forward for this to happening at the newly laid track at the National Stadium. Yes, that is Michael Johnson, the first meet in the Grand Slam. Another thing, it's in the JPL. I'm having a match, a very interesting match this evening, in which at 7, I think it's played at Arnett Garden, where Arnett Gardens will be playing. Arnett Gardens will be playing the leaders, Mount Pleasant. These two teams are first and second, and Arnett Garden would like to close the gap, even though they are 3 points behind Mount Pleasant, but it's going to be a very good match this evening. And you have other matches in the JPL, but this one is up north between Arnett Gardens and, of course, Mount Pleasant, the league leaders before this is the final preliminary round before the round of 6, where the first 2 will be bypass until the semi-final, and the 4 will play off to play the first 2, which are going to be in the semi-final. Okay, that's for sport. With entertainment, yesterday was the big event that took place in Glengough, where you have we had on stage Sunday, and it went very well. Yes, with the acts that were the likes of Boom Don, DJ Spiceman, Mikey Crucial, and of course Hard Drive. And it was a very good event that happened last night, and the promoter there, Mr. Linval, who is doing this on stage Sundays in the community of Glengough, is looking to do this again this Sunday with different artists, and I will be there to do my part and let everything be as it is. And also Tuesday, coming up tomorrow, you have Kingston Night Market that will be at Hillcrest, That is in the Ligani area coming off Hope Road where the Bob Marley Museum is, right? And you're going to have Rubber Dub Tuesdays, that is by Lady Musgrave Road with Singer J right there. So the week is set to begin tomorrow with the entertainment. And of course, one last thing, the Premier League has returned and matches will be there on for tomorrow in the Premier League. We'll give you more of that come Wednesday during our bulletin there. So this is all we have now, and looking forward to covering some of these things. Tomorrow is the 1st of April, right? And some people call it New Year's Day. Not really New Year, no, but like the new financial year starts tomorrow, and it's All Fools Day. And it's the month where we have the second anniversary show coming up on the 25th of April. Okay, the lineup is very, very powerful. Karen Lulale, New York, USA. Then you have Ras Lionheart, Alric Jubilee, Guinea Pepper, Steve Toller, G Links, Ayawater, and they're gonna have a singer there by Coney from the Philippines, who will not be physically at the show in April, but will be doing it via a video. That's Coney from the Philippines will be doing her thing right there as well. So we're gonna give you some more about the entertainment, this show that is coming up in April as we roll along until that day. So
I don't hear you pay a tribute to Cocotti.
What happened last week, they had a wake for him in Clarendon where a lot of artists turn up and pay tribute, but we didn't get the location where in Clarendon that thing was keeping the cup of Cocotti. I heard because the promoter came up and said everyone needs to come, but not everybody got the address, right? And it's one of the things that slipped through a lot of entertainers.
But what I'm saying, I don't hear you pay tribute to him on your show.
I did, but very minimal. I did. The week of his death, I did do so. Yes, but I'm trying to get some information on what he's going to plan, the funeral date, all of that. But it's not coming straight for the media. Have little information about what is going to happen, where his burial and all that. It's not something that's out there. I think they should have done more where Cocotti, the legend, is concerned. But I don't know why it's being played down in the media spaces and not much. Only on social media might get something, but in mainstream media, little, not much has been said are put in the spotlight about the legend Cocotti. But we are hoping that it's when it's time comes to believe they can have something and in remembrance of the legend, because we have done a lot for Jamaican music. It's just that how it is being going out there, and there's not much information from the media saying about it, especially mainstream media, and don't have much to say since it's passing over a week ago.
Yeah. I would like you to give us an update on Freddie McGregor. How is he doing? I would like to hear something about that.
Freddie McGregor is on treatment. Is sometime in Miami getting things done, and I think he's responding well to it. There's nothing that he is sick and not able to do anything. He's just responding to treatment, and they're keeping a close watch on Freddie, because most time he's in Miami getting things done so that he can continue. You know, he's not really sick as he have to be inactive. He's presently inactive, but on treatment at this time. We get to understand with Freddie McGregor.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well.
So that's what we can share with our listeners. Come Wednesday now, we can give you what transpired at when the entertainment start tomorrow with Night Market and others. Reggae will say at Emancipation Park with Rassarella, and a lot more things, including the European football has returned since the break, the international break, and Jamaica coach Steve McLaren is looking to add another player to the roster, that is Mason Greenwood, to be playing for Jamaica heading into the CONCACAF Gold Cup and the World Cup qualifiers that is coming up in June and July respectively this year. And we are banking on this because the boys are trying to gel or put things together as though they have demonstrated in the match against St. Vincent and Grenadines that they played at Sabina Park and won emphatically 3-0. The team looks good, but with time put together, it's going to be a formidable team, I can tell you, with the pieces that Jamaica acquired in this squad. So things are looking good for the future. And also things are looking great for the future on the side of the track and field when you look at our young girls matriculating to senior. They're looking good, especially Clayton twins and those who are overseas, Alana Reid and a couple more. Because you know that it looked like it's a changing of the old guard. We don't know what shape Shelley and Fraser Price is in. And Sherika Jackson, she's back. But we are questioning if she can produce back that form that brought her stardom in 2023.
Okay. All right. Until Wednesday.
Wednesday, we'll be playing a close look at those things in the coming week. Okay. And we'll be having it here on Rebel Radio.
All right. Thank you very much. That was JJ Kingsley McCalla there on World of Sports and Entertainment. Yes. So we are now going to take a break. Yes, take a break and then we'll be back with Frankly Speaking now. Let's go for a break.
Service stations are the fastest, coolest service stations around. Drive through and buy your phone cards from Cool Biz. Yes, it's easy. No paper, no pin. From the fastest, coolest service stations. Quality fuels, lubricants, and refreshments at the lowest prices. The cleanest restrooms and the smoothest service to make your drive even cooler. From the fastest, coolest service stations, get cool service and cool stuff fast at Cool Oasis service stations island-wide.
When me drink and please her, never gonna tease her. Boom, bam. You don't know it's a rubber dub 8 tonic wine, the finest wine. So all of the man them wanna tune into the wine here, you know. You say if you don't want to go long and strong, you just tune into rubber dub.
It's Tools Hardware and Supplies new arrival super sale. Big savings, widest selection on all new arrivals for all your home improvement needs. Beautiful tiles, sleek windows, stylish doors, sanitary ware, and top quality flooring for your bathroom, your kitchen, or living room. Tools got you covered. Don't miss it.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Need to open the video that is being streamed live. Look for the chat box on the side or bottom of the video player. This is where you can type your message. Click inside the chat box and use your keyboard to type out what you want to say. You can type words, use emojis, or even ask questions. Once you've typed your message, press the enter key on your keyboard or click the send button. Your comment will then appear in the chat for everyone watching the live stream to see. If you want to send another comment, just type it in the chat box again and press enter or send. Your new comment will show up below your previous one.
Marco Rubio to Jamaica was going to be some sort of turning point, or at least a fork in the road for Jamaica and United States relationship. Well, frankly speaking, the public utterances just nailed down the status quo, and we struggle on. Green card holders, we're told, are cool, just stay in the line. U.S. is still upset over Jamaica-China relations, about what China is doing, and the U.S. is concerned, Mr. Rubio says, over Cuban medical workers, even if Jamaica is not trafficking them, as he says is happening elsewhere. So, frankly speaking, what did this high-profile, highly promoted visit of the U.S. Secretary of State mean for Jamaica? Good day. This is the 161st episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast on March 30, 2025. Thank you for joining us live. We welcome your comments on the channel using the procedures as described earlier. Please subscribe to the channel and share the podcast with your friends and colleagues. Remember, you can watch this podcast later by using the link or going to the Frankly Speaking Jamaica YouTube channel. Welcome to our guest, U.S.-based attorney at law and public advocate Donald Vernon, and he's in a specific type of law, we're told, elder law, which we're not going to do that too much today, but we'll call upon his wide knowledge and his immigration law expertise as well. Calvin Brown should also be joining us. He's publisher whose website Wired reports on Caribbean issues. And we also have with us our regular panelists, our dedicated panelists, Desmond Richards, Winnie Anderson Brown. Calvin, I suspect, will join us in a while if he's not here yet with us. We should also be joined by Mary Grange. Welcome to you all. Mr. Vernon, please tell us what's the situation now for, I don't even want to go as wide as that, but for Jamaicans in the New York area, for example, where you operate, where you do business.
Well, that's an interesting question. My take on it is that right now, the immigrant community in the entire United States is under attack by the most powerful man in the world and the most powerful government with all of its instrument in the world. And so under those circumstances, I'm sad to report that the immigrant community is not doing well as it relates to the policy, the anti-immigrant policy of the Trump administration. And here in New York, where is the ground zero of the Jamaican community, we certainly aren't doing well, because I know for a fact that this attempt at psychological warfare is in fact affecting the Jamaican community in a very, very serious way. People
attempt
are
at psychological warfare, you say. Tell us what that is.
Well, psychological warfare is where you try to frighten a population into surrendering before you implement any of your policies. And so the president ran on mass deportation, meaning that he was going to deport millions of immigrants, and that he was only going to focus on illegal immigrants. But at the end of the day, that is a very difficult logistical effort. And so before that could be put in place and the institutions can be built to house people, then you want to get the ball rolling. So what you try to do is try to get people to self-deport. So by having a high visibility campaign where you abuse poor and downtrodden people, and you abuse them publicly on the television, and you have ICE with their jackets and their guns running up and down Merrick Boulevard in Queens and Church Avenue in Brooklyn, you get people not even wanting to leave their home. You have people not even wanting to travel back to a funeral to pay their last respects. And so I will even go further. You have people who don't want to call the police when they're afraid for their own safety. They don't want to go to the hospital. They're afraid to send their children to school. So that's the kind of fear that exists in my community here in New York. And it's the kind of situation where it affects your psychological well-being. And some people will say, I am not going to do this. I have a home back in Jamaica. Jamaica is not a prison. It's a land of wood and water. I can be happy there. And so they will say, I'm going back home. I'm giving up my green card. I'm not going to put up with the harassment when I try to come back to the United States. And so that is psychological warfare. So they win without having to actually put on a fight.
Mr.
Wow.
Vernon, you go ahead, Desmond.
Wow. Yes. So I also understand, Mr. Vernon, that some businesses, especially the farms, they are losing workers because of this immigration policy. Is it a fact that it is now difficult for businesses to get workers?
Yes, I think it has had a negative impact on the economy. I mean, America is what it is because of its past immigration policy. It brings the best and the brightest from an intellectual standpoint, and it gets the most, and with its agricultural program and its other, work visa programs, they also draw from the labor force and pay low rate wages for imported labor. And so when you attack that same system that gives you, unfortunately, people like Elon Musk and some of the great IT people that work in Silicon Valley, but you also get the laborers that comes in and pick your beans and your coffee and all those other things. And so when you attack that, and you attack the Spanish population that is so dominant in the housing sector and in the construction sector, you're definitely going to have an issue of shortage of labor. And so the United States now is feeling the economic impact of this foolish anti-immigrant policy. And now the American people in the very near future will start to feel the benefit of their wisdom, that is to re-elect Donald Trump to be the leader
Vernon,
of this country.
Mr. Vernon, I have a friend of mine who is coming through, and I know another friend of mine who is a Republican, is saying what you are saying there is a load of things that the Democrats would want to say, the anti-Trump position. But America has opened its borders, has lost its way with a lot of the people who have come in and hurt America. And it is time for them to take back control of their borders. And that's all the president is asking for. That's what I'm told. That's what I'm hearing. I want to make a quick response to that. But I would also like you to segue on Jamaica's relations with the U.S. now. How do you see that in the context of the Marco Rubio visit?
Well, what I see here is that, the prime minister seems to think that, everything is good, but of course he's a diplomat, right? And in spite of what may happen behind the scene, I guess there's a need for him to put his best foot forward and or to present the relationship in the best light possible. But based on what I heard and when I watched that press conference, I am very much concerned that the relationship is strained or will be strained in the very near future.
One of the things that and I think that is applicable for the entire Caribbean, because the issue, one of the main issues, is that the Americans are unhappy with the relationship between China and Caribbean governments and between Cuba and Caribbean governments. The Americans are unhappy with that. For example, in Guyana, the president, the Secretary of State, was quoted as describing one of the newly built highways as a concussion. Meaning he traveled on the highway and he said it was so bumpy, and said he gave it as an example of what the Chinese did. And in fact, that highway was built by contractors. The Chinese had nothing to do with that highway. So what you said there is applicable. The visit last week was to tell the Caribbean government what America want to be done. That is the purpose of that visit.
Well,
and,
one of the things that came up in that regard, Desmond, is the Cuba-Caribbean relationship. Jamaica, in our particular case, Jamaica-Cuba relationship, especially with the medical workers. And we have the comments from the press conference. I'm going to ask Joshua to bring it up as soon as possible, just to let us hear the comments from both Marco Rubio and the Prime Minister.
Yes.
Yes,
the government decides how much of anything to give them. They take away their passports. They basically operate as forced labor in many places. Now, there are places that have better labor standards. Perhaps Jamaica is one of those, and that's fine. But I'm describing generally what the program has been. It has operated in that way in many parts of the world and placed these people in tremendous danger. And so I think we can all agree that the trafficking in labor, be they doctors or farm workers, is not something that we would want to be supportive of, and we find that to be an egregious practice on the part of the Cuban regime. Now, every country operates the program differently, and obviously because of our relationship with Jamaica, we're going to engage with them on that and talk about it further and have a better understanding. Perhaps none of this applies in the way it's handled here, but generally that's the problem with the program. It's not that they're Cuban doctors. It's that the regime does not pay these doctors, takes away their passports, and basically it is, in many ways, forced labor. And that we cannot be in support of. Again, not speaking about here in particular, but in general about the program.
In Jamaica have been incredibly helpful to us. Jamaica has a deficit in health personnel, primarily because many of our health personnel have migrated to other countries. We are, however, very careful not to exploit the Cuban doctors who are here. We ensure that they are treated within our labor laws and benefit like any other worker. So any characterization of the program by others certainly would not be applicable to Jamaica. We are ensuring that our program complies with all the international laws and standards to which we are a party to.
Paid. And many other parts.
Okay. So I hope you could hear that. It was audible to me. Forgive us. We apologize to listeners viewers who weren't able to hear that. But that was the Marco Rubio essentially saying the problem is not with Cuban doctors. It's with the regime. It's with some countries who have a situation of forced labor, take away the people's passport, the doctor's passport, and give them a portion of the money that the government spend, etc. We are also joined by Calvin Brown. Calvin, welcome. Anybody want to comment on the situation with the medical workers before we move on?
Well, if you don't mind, yeah, I that's a red herring. At the end of the day, the initial Department of State or State Department position was that anyone who continued to accept, medical professionals from Cuba, that their governments or government officials and their families will be denied U.S. visas. And so that was a very robust, big stick foreign policy that was supposed to be adhered to all the Caribbean governments. And as he engaged today in Jamaica, and the facts on its face are different, they're backpedaling. But at the end of the day, you're still going to see a very robust foreign policy, one which focuses on you do what we say you do, otherwise we don't like you, and whatever aid we used to give you, you won't get it anymore. And that's the essence of what he was saying about USAID, was that he was switching from having it being an institutional support program that focuses on the need of the people to a political tool that is run by from government to government, and it will be dictated by whether or not the individual governments, such as Jamaica, follow the foreign policy of the United States. And if the government
Lost Mr. Vernon there. He was making a point. Calvin, would you like to comment, Calvin, on the matter of the aid and support we get and the press conference in particular, the issues?
Listen to me. Am I on?
Yes, you're on. You're on, Calvin.
Okay. I have never been impressed with any level of assistance that the United States says it is giving to Jamaica. When you look at it, what is it that in the past, apart from the Caribbean Basin Initiative that was done in 1983 by the Reagan administration, that gave, I think it was 17 Caribbean countries duty-free access. Duty-free access for our manufacturers, and that went the way of all flesh. What else has the government, the United States, given to the countries of the Caribbean?
I used to get bulgur and milk powder at school.
Yeah, that was soft. That was not for you, you know. It is for their foreign policy. It's a part of their foreign.
For corporate.
What is it that you're giving us in terms of balance of payment support?
But you're not impressed that the U.S. is doing so kindly to Jamaica. And Jamaica needs the U.S. as badly as we see. Well, people want to keep their visas. People want to keep friendliness. People know that it's the most powerful country in the world. People know that it's very close to Jamaica. And people know that we have possibly as many Jamaicans and their descendants living there as are living here on the rock.
Yeah, but we go there to build the United States. We have built, as immigrants have gone there and we have built the United States. We don't get things for free there. We have to work for it. And we as an immigrant population and a migratory population, we have been doing this since the days of the Panama Canal.
And before, we've been going to Cuba, people went to Haiti, people went to the Panama Canal, as you say, people went right across Central America, Jamaicans.
Yeah, we have gone there because they want us to be there. And I've been listening to you in terms of the agricultural workers. The agricultural workers are critical to the production initiative of the United States. It is not that they want us there. And of course,
Calvin, can you tell me what did you get out of the press conference? We're trying to get back Mr. Vernon, of course. Mr. Vernon, if you're here, and we're trying to get back to you. But what did you get from the press conference, Calvin, and the last week Wednesday's engagement in Kingston?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what it is that he was saying. What basically what he used the platform to do was to curse off people who are trying. I tell you the truth, I really don't know.
Well, there's a transcript online you could read. that may be beneficial.
It doesn't make sense to me. Tell me, what did you get out of it?
Well, as I said at the start of the program, the status quo essentially remains. The people who have their green cards are just must stay within the rules and are free to travel. He wanted Jamaica to know that the U.S. continued to look disfavorably on China's operation in the region. He wanted them to know that we are securing us Jamaicans to know that we are securing their borders. Those were his position. And Cuba, and on Cuba, he said that he feared that what was happening in some places was a situation where the Cuban workers were being abused in the benefit of the regime, and that it was the difficulty with the Cuban doctors so much. Those were the positions. But you were not impressed, Calvin.
No, because look, he came to us with a position of well, it's really a Marco Rubio. It's really a Marco Rubio position. He's been trying to peddle that for quite some time, because don't forget, here every time he turns around, he is trying to find a way to ensure that the 60-year-old embargo that the United States has placed on Cuba is still there. And the only way that the Cuban government can beat the embargo is through the medical missions. And what is the difference between the medical missions and the agricultural farm workers?
Farm workers.
Yeah.
Farm workers, what we said.
Yeah, they're doing the very same thing that the Cuban government is doing in terms of the farm workers program. So what's the story?
My friend Calvin Brown is not impressed. Mary, were you impressed by the visit?
Very impressed, Mr. Mack. I am very impressed with how Prime Minister Holness handled and represented Jamaica. As you know, I'm a Prime Minister Holness fan, and I am also very impressed with how Minister Rubio handled himself. The meeting, the purpose was achieved. As an ambassador going to visit countries, is a part of his job, and he came. And of course, we expect him to come with the message of the United States to uphold the United States agenda, and he did just that. Represented himself very well, and I was very impressed. Not surprised that Jamaica would have found favor in the eyes of the U.S. as of today, because as you know, even though we're a small country, we are well managed by this administration as well as previous administrations by the opposition. So Jamaica is not one of those countries who will be found culpable in stuff like human trafficking and so on. So as a Jamaican, I feel very proud. And I actually had a dream about President Trump last night visiting me, trying to make a deal with a large plot of land, grassland, that I have. As a Jamaican, I say hail to the Prime and hail to the President of the
I see Desmond. Go ahead, Desmond.
I would love to comment.
Go ahead, Winnie. Jump in.
Yes,
please.
I would love to say this, that whenever we talk of Jamaica, let us remember that Jamaica is the largest English-speaking island in the Caribbean. So when we talk about Jamaica, just remember what Jamaica is. So we like to talk about small, but in the Caribbean, Jamaica is the largest English-speaking island in the Caribbean and the third largest island in the Caribbean. So Jamaica will attract the kind of attention that it did historically, and it will continue to attract that kind of attention. So I just wanted to put that in the mix when we talk about Jamaica.
Thank you, Winnie. I mean, we could use the term third world as we're classified on the world stage.
You see, my position with when it comes down to Jamaica and America, it's different, you know, because you see, I am not part of this cap in hand audience. For example, 90% of the killings in Jamaica. Let me point out that in the English-speaking Caribbean, Jamaica has the largest murder rate. 90% of the killings in Jamaica are done by guns imported from the United States. What is being done? What can America do, and what has America done to help us to prevent illegal guns from coming to Jamaica? And let me also point out that most of the murders in the English-speaking Caribbean are committed by guns imported from the United States. What has it done? Now, one of the things that we must in Jamaica must understand, you know, and that is why Rubio came here. The English-speaking Caribbean is America's backyard, you know.
Yes.
And historically,
Why we call it the front yard?
Historically, we must remember how America treat the Caribbean and Latin America, right? And therefore, what Rubio came to Jamaica and the Caribbean last week is just to hand down to tell the leaders President Trump's foreign policy and what he expects them to do. He just took a message.
And that essentially should be his job, Desmond.
Absolutely.
Well, I am not saying that that is not his job, you know. What I am saying is that throughout my lifetime, for the past 60 years, this is how the Caribbean has been treated by America, right? We have been instructed what to do, and those of us who take a different position, like Michael Manley did in the 70s, is punished, right? And killed. So that is what.
And Michael Manley, you use Michael Manley, but don't say killed in the same sentence because he wasn't killed.
I suppose financial.
You can use it in the same sentence.
No, I said Michael Manley was punished, and Caribbean leaders, Caribbean and Latin American leaders have been killed by U.S. CIA activities. That is not a secret. That is on the records, right? And as a matter of fact, one of the interesting things that I urge listeners and viewers to do now, try and access the CIA papers on Jamaica in the 70s. They are now available.
The 2024 report by the U.S. government's Accountability Office indicated that between 2018 and 2022, some 75% of firearms that were recovered from crimes in the Caribbean were traced originally to the United States. And these firearms coming from the United States have been linked to most of the homicides that take place in the Caribbean. It is said that every month 200 guns are trafficked from the United States into Jamaica.
May I ask Sir Mark, may I ask our guest?
All right. Go ahead and take the comments, please. We don't want to leave out the comments.
I'm going to go to the comments. I just have a question for Mr. Brown, Calvin Brown. Is there a Caribbean island that manufactures and produces guns that instead of trafficking it from the US, which is our closest, possibly easiest neighbor, they would have made it here, manufactured it themselves, because they need to get the guns from somewhere. I take it that the criminals can't operate without their guns. But
we don't make guns in the Caribbean, Mary.
We don't need to get any guns from the United
States. So why are we surprised then that the guns come from the United States?
Surprised.
Why is that a doom or a red flag against the United States?
No, with respect. With respect. With
it
respect.
would sound like we're making guns, but choose to get it from the United States.
With respect.
Go ahead, Mr. Brown. Go ahead.
The United States, when they want to stamp out anything, they have a methodology, and they have a methodology to prevent the guns coming to the Caribbean. They can do that. But why haven't they done that? Because of the lobby.
You know,
Mary,
I asked
Mary,
a question. Yes, go ahead.
Mary, before you ask the question, let me remind
you. Complain that we don't take them in, and when they send them.
Let me remind you about something.
We want their comments.
America at one time declared war on drugs. Jamaica was noted to be
Mary, let's hear the comments,
one of the producers of marijuana.
She's
right?
answering. So.
And the Americans provided Jamaica with assistance to destroy the ganja trade in Jamaica.
Yes. Mary, can we get some the comments,
yes.
please? Some of the comments, please.
Yes. Okay. Let's go to the comments before we come back. So we want to welcome. We have a viewer from Bahamas, Philippa Richards. Welcome to Frankly Speaking. I don't know if this is your first time, but welcome, and do tell your friends in Bahamas about us and make sure they tune in. Calvin, that was our guest. I'm sorry. So hi, Rubian, or welcome, regular guest Rubian. Alan is also a regular guest. We also have Owen with a comment who says, Mary, are you really into Trump? You should do a deep dive into history and prior to entry into politics. My response is, yes, I support the Republican agenda over the Democratic agenda.
Okay.
My Lord.
And by the way, we just tell our viewers that we really had Mr. Vernon, Donald Vernon,
yes,
from New York, and we've just been trying to get him back, but we have been having problems. And we're going shortly. We're going to end this segment and go over to Winnie on life certificates.
But question here, Mary, are you supporting all the things that Trump has unleashed on the United States?
Pick up your voice a little, Calvin. And
I'm hearing.
Okay. I want to know if Mary is supporting all the nastiness that Trump has unleashed on the United States and the black people in general.
It would be stupid of me to say yes. Ultimately, the overall Republican agenda, yes.
No, it's not a Republican agenda. It's a Trump agenda. It is no longer a Republican agenda.
I am sorry.
Don't bring it back to the Republican agenda. It's a Trump agenda.
Okay, you and Mary will be able to carry that swing a little later. Mr. Vernon, I want to welcome you back. We lost you in the middle of something that you were saying. And we lost you a little bit there, and we're glad to have you back. I just wanted to, we're coming to the end of this part of the program. But for you essentially you are quite opposed to Mary's position. Mary's position is that she supports the Republican agenda. There are not many black leaders, by the way, now, Mr. Vernon, standing up for anything in America. Am I correct? I think Desmond asked that off here.
Yeah, well, you know, the Trump agenda right now is an anti-black agenda. It's an agenda that seeks to take away our rights as equal citizens of the United States. And that, in my mind, is, you know, the administration, as I stated before, the strongest man in the world with the strongest government in the world targeting black people.
The richest man, not strong.
Well, he's the strongest because he has the most power as the president of the United States. He
Oh, beg
controls
your
the
pardon.
United States military, which he can because he has no respect for the Constitution or for the democratic rule of the United States. And so I'm at a loss for why would we support an agenda, a administration, a leader whose only ambition in life is to subjugate our children and our grandchildren to second-class citizenship. It doesn't matter about his economic policy. It doesn't matter about whether he likes black people or don't like black people. What it matters is whether or not he wants to change the laws of the United States in such a way that my black grandchild will have less freedom, less opportunity for personal and familial development than I did. It is wrong, and we must
Counsel, be
resist it.
concise and tell me what is there that leads you to say that. Counsel, just be concise and give a specific. What leads you to say that Trump in America, because Jamaica is a majority black country, as everybody knows, and so we are interested in what happens to black people anyway, including our relatives and friends over there. What leads you to say that Donald Trump is about taking away rights that would make your grandchild, great-grandchild, have less
The number
rights
one rights, in response to that question, sir, the number one right we have in the United States under the Constitution of the United States is our rights to free speech. The President of the United States now is trying to shut down free speech in the universities of the United States.
No, I have to interrupt you.
It's the universities of the United States.
Attorney Vernon, I must interrupt you.
It's the
I can't.
You got to allow me to finish the point. You
No,
gotta allow
don't
me to finish the point.
No,
what you're
I
doing
know
is literally kind of rude, right? Because you have to allow a person to finish a point. You cannot interrupt them in midstream before you understand the point.
Go ahead, Mr.
So the point being made here is that if you have laws that's been passed in Florida banning the teaching of Black history in our public schools, we have a problem with that. Those who choose to ignore history or those who choose not to remember history are doomed to repeat it. The last time I checked history, we're coming from a place where we were enslaved. We were treated as second-class citizens. We had no rights. And so I don't want that history to be repeated. And so I need to be able to speak. I need to be able to speak and to speak my truth to power. That's how a democracy works. And we have a president that is also anti-democratic in every possible way. And so that's why we have a problem as a immigrant community, because we are an insular minority and we're the ones that get hurt when we lose democracy.
Allow Mary to respond. She's going to read a comment first and then she's going to respond.
Yes. We have Israel, who just came in. Guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people, Israel. I endorse that thought. Thank you, Israel. I am just outraged, for want of a better word. Where were people like you, Attorney Vernon, and Mr. Calvin, with you managed to put a negative spin on every sunshine that shines, when the Democratic agenda banned people like me from free speech because we have a position that did not line up with your term that you use, your own truth, because we know we're entering into a world of own truth.
That's the end of today's show. Yes, thanks to all my listeners and viewers. Thanks to my technical operator, Kevin. And remember, drivers, riders, pedestrians, please obey the rules of the road and cut the speed. Cut your speed to too many fatalities since the start of the year. And remember to keep safe. Stay away from the gunmen. They are on the rampage. Until Wednesday, remember you can listen to today's program. Yes, and Google. Remember, Rebel Radio 1. Rebel Radio Jamaica 1. Yes, remember that. So until Wednesday, this is Rebel Radio and I am Desmond Richards.
Service stations are the fastest, coolest service stations around. Drive through and buy your phone cards from Cool Biz. Yes, it's easy. No paper, no pin. From the fastest, coolest service stations. Quality fuels, lubricants, and refreshments at the lowest prices. The cleanest restrooms and the smoothest service to make your drive even cooler. From the fastest, coolest service stations, get cool service and cool stuff fast at Cool Oasis service stations island-wide.
Never gonna tease her. Boom, bang. You don't know, so rubber dub, health, tonic wine, the finest wine. So all of the man them want to tune into the wine here, you know. You say if you don't want to go long and strong, you just tune into rubber dub.
It's Tools Hardware and Supplies new arrival super sale. Big savings, widest selection on all new arrivals for all your home improvement needs. Beautiful tiles, sleek windows, stylish doors, sanitary ware, and top quality flooring for your bathroom, your kitchen, or living room. Tools got you covered. Don't miss it.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.